What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first podcast of the DBA. Today I'm joined with Mr. Lale. How you doing, Mr. Lale?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. We're excited for this. We haven't done this before, so we're gonna try something new. So we're gonna start off with 5 questions each about the DBA and what's been going on. So I'm gonna start off first. First question I have for you. We both had bad shooting and bad defense in game 1. What were the adjustments you personally made going into games 2 and 3?
Well, we got a basketball hoop put into our house, so that was able to help a lot with my jump shot. I practiced pretty much every day, like an hour or so. And 8 foot over there, 8 foot over here, it's not much of a difference, so it'll help you on any court.
Yeah. Originally, we had planned out for the league to be a 3v3 league. We had to go to 2v2. Was it hard to adjust to that with your game plans, or was that not a factor?
It wasn't very hard to adjust, in my opinion. I think we've always played very well together, and after the first game, which was a fluke, we were able to see our full potential in games 2 and 3.
All right. There's rumors about possibly having expansion teams. We had a team wanting to join the league, but that was rejected. How would you feel about expansion teams in the future?
I think it'd be really good for the league. It'll bring a bigger audience, and it'll allow for us to have more competition.
All right. If you could make any changes to the DBA right now, what would they be? Or do you not have any?
I haven't really thought about that. It's been very fun so far, so at this point, I don't really think there are any changes that are needed.
All right, my last question is a tough one. If you had to compare yourself to someone in the NBA, past or present, who would you compare yourself to based on your style of play and your skill set?
Well, I would say Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook. Why Russell Westbrook?
Because I'll be running the point every game, and he's one of the best point guards in the league, and he drives in the basket a lot, and that's where I get the majority of my buckets, but he can also shoot when he needs to, and that's what I can do too.
All right, there you go. Heard it here first.
Okay, so here we go. Question 1, how fun has the DBA been so far on a scale from 1 to 5?
I'd say 4. It's been fun being around the guys. The only thing that kind of sucks is the wind lately. But other than that, it's been fun being around the guys. Even if we win or lose, just a good time all around.
How has the DBA helped everyone's boredom during this quarantine?
I think especially it's helped me a lot because now I have something to look forward to. Get outside and shoot some hoops. I've been playing some 1v1s against Kale. He's an animal. Hopefully he's watching this. But maybe it's helped the 7 fans we have that are subscribed back home. But overall, it's just something for us to do. It's boring without school or baseball right now. So, yeah, it's been fun for us.
Does being the commissioner of the DBA bring more stress or more joy to you?
A little bit of both. It's joy because I get to run the Twitter accounts and the YouTubes, and I get to make the rules and stuff, but also a little bit stressful because I'm the one that edits the videos. I have to the last video I did was 4 hours long of editing, but overall it's pretty fun because I get to run the show pretty much.
When can we expect to see the full rosters of the DBA in action, like Joey, Gavin, and Drew?
We were supposed to see that on my birthday last Saturday, but it was rainy outside, so we couldn't do it. It's something that we really can't predict because we don't know when Gavin's gonna come back. Obviously, we know he's in Illinois, so we honestly don't know. Hopefully, we can get it sometime this summer when he comes by.
And is there anything that you would like to change about the DBA after seeing the first 2 weeks of action?
Honestly, me and you have thought about this. We were thinking about making the DBA a 2v2 league permanently because it'd just be easier for us to keep stats for the whole league, and honestly, I think it's more fun because it's not so congested in the lane, and overall it's just more fun for us. So as many of you guys know, the coronavirus hit. If you don't know, then I don't know where you've been at the last couple of months, but this has affected us greatly as we were a 3v3 league, now we're 2v2s. We've lost some people to the roster. How'd you feel about the coronavirus when it came right at the beginning of our season?
It hit us hard. It hit the country hard, and we saw tons ton of pro sports get canceled right away, and so we just wanted to be able to have something to do during our free time without anything to watch on TV. So we started the DBA, and it hasn't really been a problem, but you have people like Joey and Drew who have to stay home a lot, so they aren't able to really participate yet. But I mean, for the rest of us, it's been fun. Can't wait to see everybody being back out there.
Yeah, it also sucks because we scheduled, me and Gavin and anatomy, we came up with the DBA, you were in it with English. We came up with the DBA the week school got canceled, so we were excited. We had the draft down here the first night of quarantine. But overall it sucked because we want this to be 3v3 league, so hopefully we can get back to that. Alright, we had a controversial play in game 1. We'll show the clip now.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Dude, it's the other line.
No, you were about.
Chase.
No.
Weezy,
I'm a late bloomer, 3 year on the.
So basically what happened was you were in the corner and it was a close game. I think we just needed a bucket to win. And Chase thought you stepped out of bounds and you didn't. So what was going through your head during that play and after the play that led to Michael's dunk?
So, I was in the corner right by the garage, and the garage door was open, and then there's a crack, and then there's like a dark marking from where the garage usually
That's where it's
closes.
usually out of bounds.
And I was on the crack, my foot wasn't quite on the black line, and Chase thought I was out of bounds because he didn't know which line was out of bounds. So I think they get a rebound, and I'm still standing in the corner, and I'm telling him oh no, this is out of bounds. They keep playing, and I turn around and they get an easy dunk to go up by 1 or something, and it was very controversial.
Yeah, I was very upset because I felt like we did not play as good as they did, but we had the lead, we had a shot to win. And when I looked back and I saw you on the ground and you weren't playing defense, I was upset because I felt like that was a turning point in the game. Although I don't think it was really your fault because it was just a heat of the moment thing. But I feel like without that play, we're 3-0. They're sitting at home watching this, and they have 0 wins. But we gotta give respect where respect is due. They both played well that game. You know, Chase and Mike, they played their butts off, hit their shots. Overall, it was a good game. All right, so another controversial topic. You and mid-range Mike. We've seen some moments where you guys get frustrated with each other. We'll show one right now.
Jesus. Ball.
Whoa! He shoulder checked me. My God.
So, you know, he plays some hard defense.
Mhm.
What do you have to say about his defense?
Well, I have always respected his defensive style of play. Plays hard, he gets up on you, it makes it tough for you to get rebounds too. But it gets to a point where sometimes he's pushing you around, fouling you a little bit, and it frustrates you. And in that clip you guys saw, I had to have some of my words beeped out because what I said, it was pretty clear he shoulder checked me. Lucky we won the game in the end, so it really didn't matter, but it's tough because, I mean, you don't really want to call fouls, but there's a boundary that you can't cross, and then he's been crossing it lately, in my opinion. Fouling on almost every shot in the lane I take, so.
I do not want to put in my inputs because Michael is my golf buddy, so I don't want to make him upset because he's a great golf cart driver, and I want to keep it that way. I have 2 more topics, and then you can discuss topics you want. We had our first night game in game 3. Do you think we could do more of those going forward, or what do you think about the night games?
I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know how well it would work at other people's courts, but at mine, the lighting was really good. It was able to give us a different scene, to play in, and it was a lot of fun. The wind was still not great, but
We can't blame that on the night, though.
can't blame that on the night, obviously. I thought it was really fun all around, and it gives us the opportunity to play 2 games in a day sometimes.
I think it'd be best at your house because my house we use a black basketball,
Oh yeah.
and it'd be tough to see. One more topic to talk about. We both put an input on this one. So far, what is the play of the year? Overall, any team.
Play of the year.
I'll go first. I'll give you some time to think about it. Even though I got the worst end of this one, I think Chase's putback over me was absolutely disgusting. Just an athletic play all around. He somehow read the rebound well and just threw it down all over my face. So that's my play of the year so far. Sad that it wasn't one of my plays, but I'm just being honest, that's the play of the year.
I would have to agree with that. There really hasn't been anything in games 2 or 3 that is quite at that level of insanity.
I don't
per
think
se.
we'll see something like that again.
No,
That was
and
just nuts.
especially because, like, putback dunks, you got to get super lucky where the ball is where you are, and you just happen to be in the way. He kind of posts you with
Yeah.
it too, but
It's fine.
it was a very athletic play. Don't see many of those from Chase. But yeah, he's honestly, that's pretty much it. There haven't been a ton of plays to that level yet. We'll
Yeah.
see some more, I'm sure. It's just,
All right, so today, right now, we're gonna do the NBA playoffs as they're supposed to be. Very sad that didn't happen, but I think it's the right thing to do to push it back because we don't want the coronavirus spreading any more than it does. So hopefully they can get back in action. But me and Jack, we each put together the brackets for the first round, and we're gonna discuss who we think is gonna come out of the first rounds of each series right now. So first series, we got the number 1 Bucks versus the number 8 Magic. I think this is an obvious one. I said Bucks in 5. I think the Magic
Games.
steal a game from them.
okay, you put the games. I did not put the games, but I also said the Bucks. I think it'll be a quick series. I don't think it'll go more than 5. The Bucks have just looked like the best team in the East all year, and Giannis might win another MVP, so he'll be pretty much unstoppable for at least the first couple rounds.
All right. Next series, we got Miami Heat versus the Indiana Pacers. Who you got?
I got the Heat in this one. I think it'll be a pretty good series. It'll help players like Oladipo recover over this hiatus that's going on. But I guess the Heat, they have a couple All-Stars on that team. Bam Adebayo came out really strong this year. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's a great player.
Hero came out of the
Hero,
gates
yeah.
firing.
Mm-hmm.
I said Heat in 5. I think the Heat, they just got the talent going. Surprising to say this, Jimmy Butler, I think he's a good teammate in Miami. I think he fits well there. And honestly, I think the Heat give the Bucks run for their money in the second round, but we'll discuss that next week. All right, we got Celtics versus Sixers.
Mm-hmm. I've got the Celtics in this one. I think it'll be a very quick series. I know a lot of people are high on the Sixers every year, but the team chemistry isn't quite there, and the Celtics have a lot of good players. They're very deep. They have one of the best benches in the NBA, so I think they will roll through this series with ease.
I said Boston in 7 games. I still think the Sixers are a very talented team, but I just don't see them being very successful if they keep Ben Simmons and Embiid because that's just not very good floor spacing. I think they need a point guard that can shoot out of everywhere except the lane. So I think the Celtics will take care of business in 7. It's going to be a good series, though.
I am normally a fan of the Sixers. Like, if they, honestly, I'll probably root for them in this series, but it comes to a point where you gotta go with what's reality versus what you want.
All right, last one in the East, we got Toronto Raptors versus the Brooklyn Nets. As we know, KD could have returned, but he's not going to return, so that's what we're going to base off of.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, I have 2 outcomes, and one is if he were not to return, which is probably what's going to happen. You remember what happened last year in
It'd
the
be
finals. He came back pretty early, and he got hurt again. He's out the whole 2019-2020 year. So I have the Raptors in this. If he doesn't return, the Nets pretty much have nobody besides Kyrie on that team, and we know Kyrie, when he's kind of trying to carry a team, he really can't carry all the load. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Raptors, they win in 6. I think the only reason the series gets elongated is because Kyrie Irving. I'm very, very big fan of Kyrie Irving. I think overall he's LeBron's best teammate. That's my hot take on Kyrie Irving, but I do think the Raptors will take care of business.
Yeah.
All right.
The number 1 seeded Lakers versus the number 8 seeded Grizzlies.
Yeah. As you know, I'm a big LeBron fan. He's the GOAT. Just kidding. He's the second GOAT. But I think the Lakers sweep easily. John Morant, too young to challenge LeBron. So I think it's a quick series.
Great player. He will be an all-star many years, but he can't beat LeBron and Anthony Davis and all them with his Grizzlies. So I think it'll be a sweep as well.
Yeah.
Now we got the Jazz versus the Thunder.
Yeah, I think little bit of an upset, even though they're 4-5. I think the Thunder roll out of a series in 7 games. I think Chris Paul's leadership and Steven Adams' leadership will carry the young core they have with Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander. So I think that they upset the Jazz because the chemistry is not going to be there with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. They're not really friends with each other. So yeah, I think OKC in 7.
I have the Jazz in this one. I disagree with what you said about the chemistry not being there. I think by the time this hiatus is over, they'll have gotten over it. And at the end of the day, they have the playoff mentality, and they're not going to be worrying about who started the coronavirus in the NBA. I mean, ultimately, it's not Rudy Gobert's fault, but they're all stars, so they're gonna play good. And the Thunder don't really have much besides CP3 and Steven Adams. And next we have the Nuggets, 3 seed versus the number 6 seed Rockets. This was a tough one for me. This was a very tough one.
I thought this was easy.
Really?
Rockets are just gonna dominate not the Celtics, the Nuggets. I think the duo of Harden and Westbrook, I think they're gonna be lethal in the playoffs, and I could see them going very far in the playoffs. Both players very talented, and I think both players are capable of carrying their team because they have playoff experience. I think both players are capable of carrying their team far in the playoffs.
This took me a while to figure out, but I did end up going with the Nuggets. I did. But it was tough to look past the fact that Westbrook and Harden average 55 combined points per game. But that's also a problem because it really drops off after that. I mean, you have people like Clint Capella who can play, Eric Gordon, a decent 6th man. Is he not?
Oh.
Dude. Is he not?
No, he's on the Hawks, I think. I'm pretty sure Clint Capella's on the Hawks.
I swear he's still on the Rockets.
No, he's not, and I'm putting that.
Did he get traded?
I'm putting that in the video. So
No, he got
just-
traded. He must have gotten traded.
Oh man. All right, so yeah, I think Clint Capella will carry the
Shut
Rockets.
up. No, he's still on them.
No, he's not. He's on the.
39 games played, unless he really got traded.
Just look up online, Clint Capella.
He is on the Hawks.
I
He got traded. Take it out.
All right, well, I'll try to cut that today.
You'll try to cut it? No.
Yeah. All right. Last
Whatever.
series in the West.
I gotta explain it more.
Oh, he's got.
But anyways, Nuggets. They're a deep team. And honestly, without Clint Capella, the Rockets are going to be at an even bigger disadvantage. So
They don't like to play with the center.
the
though.
Nuggets are good. I know they don't, but I mean, who's going to stop Jokic? He's a really good player.
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook.
That's you right there.
Nuggets are deep. They have proven they can hang with anybody in the league, so I have them. And the Rockets have never really been a great playoff team. Obviously, they have Westbrook now, but I don't think it'll really change.
All right.
Last series, the 2-seeded Clippers versus the 7 Mavericks.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. The Clippers are gonna win. I think it'll go 6 games though, because I think Luka is just a stud. Clippers are gonna win in 6, even though they're facing the Mavs with Luka and Porzingis. I think Luka will make it somewhat of a close series, but overall the Clippers have too much firepower going, so I think they come out on top.
I have the Clippers as well. The only way I don't see this as a sweep is if Kawhi sits out for load management, like he is known to do. Because, yes, the Mavericks have possibly the league MVP in the next few years, Luka. I don't think he's enough to really carry the Mavericks to more than a couple wins in this series. And we've seen what Kawhi and PG can do at the top of their game. And Clippers have Lou Williams, they have Patrick Beverly, they have Montrezl Harrell, they have a ton of good players, so I think it's going to be pretty easy.
All right, that wraps up the first round. We're going to do the second round next week, and then we'll keep going with that as the weeks go on. All right, for our next segment, we're gonna start a series where we rank the
GOATs of the Atlantic Division.
yeah. So
in the
basically,
NBA.
there's 6 divisions in the NBA, as many of you know. We're gonna come up with the GOATs of the 2010s for each division, and we're gonna start with the Atlantic today. So we got Raptors, Celtics, Sixers, Nets, Knicks, and this is our thoughts on the best player in the 2010s on each of those teams. All right, so we'll start with the Raptors.
Yep.
Who do you got?
This one made me think because I know there are 2 players that you probably had in mind. One of them is a long-running player with them, and then one of them kind of came in and did the job and left. And I went with the guy that came in, did the job, and then left, Kawhi Leonard, because he brought them a championship. You can't deny that. And although the other player, Kyle Lowry, was with them, was always an all-star, was always a great player, he had a big impact, but they wouldn't have won that championship without Kawhi Leonard. Let's be honest here. They should have lost to the Bucks, but he turned up a notch, completely shut down Giannis, and then in the finals he averaged over 29 points a game. Was able to completely dethrone the Warriors.
Yeah. I was debating between DeMar DeRozan and Kawhi Leonard. I'm a big DeMar DeRozan fan. I've liked him for a long time. But at the end of the day, rings speak. And I think DeRozan could not get it done for the Raptors. They couldn't even come out of the East with LeBron there. And once Kawhi came, I think he is the greatest Toronto Raptor ever. He got them their only ring. He turned that franchise around permanently. So I think Kawhi is definitely the GOAT for me.
Next up, we got the Boston Celtics, historic franchise, but I think the GOAT of the 2010s was Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce.
He retired around halfway through the decade, but he is probably a top 30, maybe 25 player ever. He will be known for one of the best Celtics of all time, and even late in his career, he was still able to average a high number of points. The Celtics are kind of getting back to where they used to be now, but I think you can't really crown any of the players on their current roster as a GOAT. I know you have studs like Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, but they haven't really been there long enough. They don't really mean as much to the franchise, so that's why I went with Pierce.
I went with Isaiah Thomas. I didn't think Paul Pierce had enough good years with the Celtics because he did finish his career with the Nets. So I think Isaiah Thomas, because he did bring a lot of great moments for that city. He took them to the playoffs multiple times. Even after his sister died, he played for them in the playoffs, got them a win. And I think it was a big mistake trading Isaiah Thomas because I think he really could have led that Celtics team to some deep playoff runs in the upcoming years after he got traded. So next we got the Sixers. I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah. I took Joel Embiid. Obviously, the other choice would have been Ben Simmons, but Joel Embiid is just a better player. I think personally he's the best center in the game. You can classify Anthony Davis as a center or power forward. I would classify Anthony as a power forward, but anyways, I think Joel Embiid has really helped that team get out of the gutter, as you would say, that they were in like early 2010s.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Joel Embiid is by far the GOAT of the 2010s for the Sixers. I mean, he's the one that started the trust the process era. Even though he's hurt the first 2 years, without Joel Embiid, that team is not where it's at right now. He just obviously the best center in the league. One of the best centers of the 2000s in general. The only thing that hurts him is his teammates right now. I think earlier I said Ben Simmons isn't the right fit there. I think if you give him a good point guard, they have Tobias Harris. I think they can go maybe to the finals, but Joel Embiid's definitely the GOAT of the 2010s.
I'd love to see it because I like Embiid. He's a funny guy on social media too.
Yeah.
It's hard to guard a 7-footer in the NBA. So yeah. Next team, we got the Brooklyn Nets. Not a great franchise during the 2010s, but I ended up going with Brook Lopez. He was pretty much there for the most years, and he didn't really have much help. I know their end of the careers, Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce went there, but they were completely washed at that point. Maybe not Pierce, but Garnett definitely was. And Brook Lopez, he made a couple All-Star games. He was able to score enough to keep them in the middle of the NBA, so kind of just went with him.
Yeah, I went with Darren Williams. This was very tough because the Nets have not been a good franchise in the last decade. But Darren Williams, I think he's going to go down as one of the greatest Nets in the history of their basketball organization. In the early 2010s, he led them to the playoffs many times, led the team in scoring all those years. So I think Darren Williams was the best pick in my opinion. Next, we're going to go to the New York Knicks. Very interesting team here.
Seem to have money, but they never want to spend it. But they did spend it on this guy, Carmelo Anthony, and he was kind of the only reason why they were relevant during even the last, I'd say, 20 years. But I was talking about 10, so he made the All-Star game almost every year until he kind of got out of his prime. But he had many memorable moments with them. I remember the game against the Bulls where he just nonstop hit those threes. It was like Sunday or Wednesday night, whatever. It was on prime time, so a lot of people wanted to watch him. Always go with him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I went with Melo also. I think he's the only reason the New York Knicks were relevant during this decade. That and their stupid GM, that's the only reason they've been relevant. Overall, I think Melo is one of the best basketball players we've seen. He gets a lot of hate. He was unsigned for a couple of years. He came back to Portland. He showed everybody what he can still do. But New York Knicks, Melo was a different animal. I think Melo is for sure the best pick for the Knicks.
Always loved watching him play. But there we have it, the Atlantic Goats of the 20.
All right, for our last segment, we're always going to finish our podcasts off with some type of music segment. So today we're going to be ranking the GOAT, Lil Uzi Vert songs. I went 1 through 25. He's a big Uzi fan, but he's more of a Travis fan.
Mm-hmm.
So he only did 15.
15. I don't know as many songs as obviously my friend here, Ty, does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was still able to make a decent sized list because he's probably top 3 rapper for me.
Why are you interrupting our podcast?
Because that's what I came down to do.
Okay.
Is
We're
it
at the
done?
very end.
This is our last
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Are you recording now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep it in.
You want to be in the video?
Yeah.
Keep that
I will
in.
put you in.
We're gonna keep that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're-
All right. So we're doing. We're ranking or you can do top 5 Lil Uzi songs.
Uzi sucks.
What?
Uzi sucks.
Not even a top 1
No.
song?
You don't even have your favorite song.
No.
He's
Get
got
it,
some
Will?
bad taste in music.
What?
All right. Can we continue?
No.
All right. So mine's all the way through 25. So I'm gonna do 25 through 21 right now. At 25, I had Grab the Wheel. 24, Pretty Mommy. 23, Loaded. 22, Trapped This Way. And 21, You're Lost. Any reaction to that?
So, there are only 2 songs on that 5 that I listened to, I would say. Well, I guess I listened to Trap This Way. I believe that's on the deluxe
Yeah.
version of EA.
Yeah.
I don't think I was a fan. I really didn't like that extension of the album, but Grab the Wheel, I really like that song. It's off good album.
Uzi vs. the World.
Lil Uzi vs. the World. Not my favorite album, but it's a good album. Really, when I started listening to that album, it kind of got me into liking Lil Uzi a little more. Then Pretty Mommy, that is one of my favorites. I have that up pretty high on my list. I've always loved that song. That album came out on, I think, my birthday, so
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time listening to it, and that one always caught my attention.
I'm gonna discuss a couple of songs for this 5. I put Trapped This Way at 22. I think it's his 3rd best song off the deluxe. I just love the flow in it, the beat. I just love Uzi so much, so That one's 22. 21 is You're Lost. I think it's the most slept on song he's ever created. On the Perfect Love tape, it's one of the best songs on there. Just the beat, his flow. Again, it's just one of my favorite songs off that mixtape, so that's the reason I put it at 21. Alright, I'm gonna do 20 through 16. At 20, I had Lil Main. 19, Chrome Heart Tags. 18, You Was Right. 17, Kobe, Bean. 16, Myron. Any thoughts?
I think that group's placed pretty well. I think there was only like one song I didn't know, Kobe or something. Yeah, I don't know this one.
I don't know this
I don't.
Okay,
But anyways, yeah, good songs. You Was Right, always a good song. It's not the longest song, but it flows pretty well. And then Lo Mein obviously has the iconic line uppity.
mhm.
So yeah.
I'm gonna talk about Chrome Heart Tags. Many people do not like this song, or they don't rate it as high as I do, but the first time I listened to Eternal Take, this song really caught my eye, or my ear, whatever you want to say. I think him collaborating with Chief Keef for the beat really killed it. I love him and Chief Keef together. As you see, I put Kobe Bean at 17. So yeah, overall, just the song, I love everything about it, and that's why it's at 19. Alright, so now Jack is gonna, Mr. Lale's gonna join us. You go 15 through 11.
Alright, so at number 15, I put Erase Your Social. At number 14, I put Myron. 13, I put Sauce It Up. 12, You Was Right. And 11, Venetia.
Alright.
Thoughts?
No.
No
Alright.
thoughts?
Nope.
No thoughts?
15.
I mean, I'm not expecting you to really agree
Yeah,
with
it's
my
tough
list.
because it's like I listen to Uzi nonstop. He's big Travis
It
guy.
would be like if you made a Travis list, you
Yeah.
pretty much only put mainstream, and
Yeah.
his mainstream is toward the bottom of my list, so
Yeah.
it's just kind of hard
So
when you have different
we're not
tastes.
really gonna agree that much down here this low in the list because
Yeah.
we don't have the same taste in music.
Yeah.
So 15 I had Bust Me, 14 Baby Pluto, 13 That Way, 12 Dark Queen, 11 P's and Q's. Do you have any reaction?
Those songs are very good. I love Baby Pluto, and I forget what you put at 15.
Bust Me.
Bust Me. I love Bust Me too.
Yeah.
Great songs off Eternal Take, both top 5 in my opinion off Eternal Take.
I'm gonna talk about That Way. I think it is the best single to drop in 2020. It's just so fire. Also, I want to talk about Baby Pluto and Bust Me. That's just classic Uzi right there. Baby Pluto, just love how it takes a while for the beat to drop. It just keeps everyone on their toes. So overall, that's why I put Baby Pluto up at 14.
Alright, my number 10 to number 6. I have number 10, Sanguine Paradise. Number 9, Prices. Number 8, Early 20 Rager. Number 7, The Way Life Goes. And number 6, EXO Tour Life. So, I know you have a strong opinion about one of those songs. How do you share it?
Would you have Early 20 Rager at 8?
I had Early 20 Rager at 8.
Oh, when I listen to Early 20 Ranger, it does not make me feel any way. There's no good lines in the song. The beat's good, but it's just him screaming. It's like ad-libs. It's like something you hear out of Travis Scott. It's just not good music.
Hey, it's something different. It's something different. And when I first listened to Love Is Rage 2, I don't think I ever listened to that song, but then
There's a reason.
just because I had never clicked on it. So I would see on like Instagram, like rap accounts would be like, oh, like this is the 1 year anniversary of Love Is Rage 2. What's your favorite song of the album? I'd go to the comments, Early 20 Ranger, Early 20 Ranger. I'm like, okay, I have to listen to it. And I loved it right away because it's not what you would expect from Lil Uzi, and it kind of shows that he has more variety than one would think. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's just
Alright.
why. Obviously, the other 4 are kind of no
They're
debate.
similar to me, yeah. Alright, 10, I have The Way Life Goes. 9, Do What I Want. 8, Prices. 7, EXO Tour Life. 6, Erase Your Social. Overall, I think that's a very solid list. The reason the EXO Tour Life is so low is simply because it got overplayed. It's a great song, don't get me wrong, but that's the only reason I have it that low on the list.
Yeah, kind of no debate there
All
as
right,
well.
we'll each say 5, and then we'll go up by
Okay.
1.
So, number 5, I have Baby Pluto. I loved that song right away. It's the first one off the album, Eternal Take. And as you said, waiting for the bass drop, it gets you on your toes. And then once it comes, it's not anything ordinary. It's something special.
Yeah. Number 5, I put 2. Very, very slept on song out of Lil Uzi. The beat, everything about it, I love it. That was my walk-up song last year for baseball. One of his best songs, that's for sure, is he put at the top of Love Is Rage 2 as it's one of the best songs on Love Is Rage 2. So, yeah, number 5, I have 2.
Number 4, I have the ultimate classic, Money Longer. That song has just been special to me for all of high school. I used to play it a ton. Every day, right when I got my car, I would be blasting it. It's a great song, has some great lines in it. They're not appropriate to share on here,
Yeah,
but
we can't do that. We got Kale
it's
watching.
super catchy, and I'm sure no one would put it out of their top 5.
You can't put it at the top 5. Number 4, Sanguine Paradise. I think part of the reason I have this song so high on my list, I even debated it as number 1, but the reason it's so high is because it was one of his first projects in like a year. He retired. That made me sad. Came out of retirement, dropped this song. I remember hearing it on SoundCloud when it got leaked. I would just blast it on SoundCloud every single day for the week, and then he dropped it on Apple Music. So once it hit Apple Music, I was all over it. Just the melody, everything about it is just a phenomenal song.
Yeah, great song.
Number 3, I got Money Longer. Same thing he said, just iconic. You think of Uzi, you hear that beat in your head. That beat is just insane.
Yeah.
There's not a beat out there that can really top Money Longer that he's made.
Number 3, I have Pretty Mommy. I've always loved this song. It's kind of more him singing, not him rapping, and kind of shows that variety as I hinted at before. It's iconic too. It came out a little later than songs like Money Longer, EXO Tour Life did, but Love Is Rage 2, it just goes to show how good of an album that is. That's a lot of songs off that album are
I
pretty
think
high.
one
on
of
the
his
list.
best.
Yeah.
Number 2, 20 Min. I did not hear the song right when it came out, but I remember watching FaZe Adapt's video, and FaZe Adapt played this song, and I'm like, that song, that's a banger. So I listened to this song, the beat's iconic, his hook's iconic, everything about it's so great, that's why it's our Slashers starting introduction music. Just a great overall song, and there's only one song that can top that in my opinion.
I have 2 at number 2. I actually had this song showed to me by Mr. Beckwith, and he made it his walk-up song, and that kind of made it even better, listening to it at a baseball field. 2 great things in life, baseball and Lil Uzi Vert music, so
Yeah.
kind of go hand in hand. It's a great song. Kind of takes a little bit to get going, but it's kind of like a rebound off of 7 a.m. I know he likes that song, and once it gets going, it's special. It's a good song.
I remember showing you that song in my car, and the first minute he was hating on, he's like, bro, this is not it. This
What
is so
is
slow.
this?
This sucks.
It's the girl from 7 a.m. talking. Then,
Yeah.
like, just wait. And then that 1 minute mark hits.
Boom.
It's crazy. Like, how did I not listen to this song before? But I'm glad I did. Let's hear your number 1.
I want you to go
Oh,
first.
you want to
yes,
mine?
'cause I
Yeah.
think everybody knows what his number 1 is, because
Mhm.
there's one song that's missing from yours.
Oh, yeah. 20 Min. 20 Min. As well as Mr. Beckwith, I heard this song from FaZe Adapt video.
Shout out to FaZe Adapt. If you're watching this, man, you're the GOAT. You're
I
the GOAT.
believe it was like a hide and seek video in the Clout House or something
Something like
along
that,
the lines
yeah.
of that, but it was playing in the intro, and I'm like, I really didn't know what song this is. I don't really know if I went to the comments or if I did like use someone else's phone, did Shazam with it or whatever, but I figured out what it was, and I realized it was off the deluxe version of Love Is Rage 2, and I guess I had listened to it before, but I was like in school. It's kind of hard to understand music when you're in school. Like, you got a lot of other things on your mind. But I listened to it right there after FizzDev Video introduced it again, and fell in love with it. Instantly went to the top, and it will probably stay there for the rest of time.
Hopefully. He's got a new album coming out, so
Yeah.
maybe, what if he has the album, they're all like 1 through 10?
Yeah, we'll see. But for right now, I don't really see the movie.
Number 1, I did not listen to the song back when it came out in 2015, I think. 7 a.m. Forever classic, you know, the iconic girl talking. Just the beat, the build up, everything about it's insane. First time I heard it was on like a random playlist on Apple Music. And the first time I heard it, I fell in love with it. The reason I have it so high is because I found it and I played it every day during one of the best summers of my life. You know, state champs, one of the 6, not gonna brag. But overall, 7 a.m. That's one of his best projects. Will forever go down as one of the greatest songs in the history of rap.
Although I did not have that on my list,
Yeah.
you can't deny its cultural influence because that song is special. It's something new. Back then, there weren't a ton of Lil Uzi Vert fans. I personally was not really introduced to him until 2017 fall, I think. But
Yeah.
it was like 2 years later, and that album isn't something spectacular, but that song is very good. I do respect you for putting it super high.
Yeah.
It shows that you're
I think there's
a
just,
real Uzi fan.
I think the problem with these lists that I see on like TikTok or YouTube or Twitter is that people, they will put down like, they'll put 20 Min and like EXO Tour Life very low because they're so mainstream, they want to be different. But I think an artist, if their best song goes mainstream, that can still be number 1. It doesn't matter if it's so mainstream.
Definitely. It just reaches out to an even bigger audience. It
Yeah.
shows that not only the Lil Uzi Vert stands, but also the
Broader audience.
broader audience
Yeah,
likes
so
it.
that's why some of our top 5 is mainstreams, because there's a reason it's mainstream, and we don't need to try to be different. This is just our thoughts, our opinions, and yeah, that's our rankings for the best Lil Uzi Vert songs. Next week we're gonna do Hollywood's Bleeding. That'll be a fun one.
That'll be a fun one. Very
Yeah.
good album. I did not go to the concert, but
It was
he did,
phenomenal.
and
Great experience.
I definitely missed out. You always get those Snapchat videos, and you're like, wow, I mean, this is cool. Like, I don't really have to pay a ticket to listen to it, but come on, like, the experience of being there, nothing tops that.
Yeah. So look out for Hollywood's Bleeding next week if you want to stick along for the rest of the podcast. So yeah, that'll be next week's music topic. That'll wrap up our podcast. We covered a lot of things. We don't know how long this video is going to be, so we're going to try to do this weekly if we don't have DBA games. DBA's been slow lately, so
Yeah.
it's just something to keep our YouTube channel
Put on a
alive.
Channel, something that if anyone's bored at home during this time, they can watch it. It'll be like 30, 40 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
It won't be like 2 hours long like some of the podcasts are out there, but I think next week we'll have second round of the theoretical playoffs, and then
We got,
we'll have another GOATS division.
we'll do Central maybe,
Central.
Bulls, Bucks.
Yeah, Bulls.
Hollywood's Bleeding's next week. Hopefully we can get a DBA game in this Saturday so we can talk about that. Maybe even get some more players on here.
Yeah. that would
If
be
there's any
interesting.
players still watching, I doubt any of our players in the league are watching till the end.
Yeah,
But
there may be a couple, but there are a couple.
need to
in
hop
mind
on.
that would definitely not hop on. But
we
yeah,
can, yeah.
I don't think the episode will be as long next week. There won't be as much DBA talk unless there's a game in between now and then. But then we'll probably just talk about the game.
Yeah.
This is kind of just an overview of DBA, the podcast format, stuff like that. It was a good time.
It was a solid time.
We'll be back next week.
See you boys.
See ya. Take care.